Daniel grew up surrounded by familiar financial wisdom, learning early that saving small amounts consistently was the responsible path to a secure future. He believed compound interest was powerful, so he skipped small pleasures, worked patiently, and trusted discipline and math to reward him over time. Daniel lived modestly, drove old cars, chose a simple home, and maxed out his retirement savings year after year without hesitation. While friends traveled and enjoyed their youth, Daniel stayed focused, investing instead, and reminding himself that safety and stability came first. At 65, the strategy paid off on paper, as Daniel reached retirement celebrated as a winner with millions saved and his goal achieved. Just 2 years into retirement, everything collapsed when Daniel suffered a massive stroke, turning decades of planning into an emergency he never expected. He spent years moving between hospital rooms, watching life continue outside, while his own body no longer allowed travel, freedom, or enjoyment. Even as Daniel grew weaker, the market kept rising, silently increasing his net worth while his ability to use it disappeared. When Daniel died, people praised the numbers, calling him a success for leaving behind millions, rather than questioning what he never lived. Behind the applause was a quiet tragedy, a lifetime of discipline that produced wealth but delayed life until there was no time left. From the outside, Daniel's life was celebrated as a triumph, with people applauding the wealth he left behind rather than the life he actually lived. But measured by real economics, Daniel failed, spending decades accumulating chips he never truly cashed in or enjoyed. This idea has a name: die with zero, a controversial but mathematically grounded philosophy that challenges how we define financial success. It argues that wealth should peak during life, then be intentionally spent down, not hoarded until the moment everything abruptly ends. If you die with money left over, that isn't safety, it's time, energy, and effort you gave away without ever using it. We hoard not because we're rational, but because our brains fear running out, even as time keeps slipping away unnoticed. Money is not the goal, it is stored life energy, created by trading away hours of your limited time on this planet. Each dollar carries a hidden cost because unused money represents experiences, memories, and moments that were never lived. That's why watching your net worth rise feels addictive, triggering dopamine while quietly draining the life behind the numbers. If this idea unsettles you, that discomfort is the signal, reminding you that wealth should serve life, not replace it. Money and time are never equal, because money can return, but every second you spend is gone forever. Behind every paycheck are thousands of hours exchanged, quietly buried under the phrase, "worked for a living." The system doesn't steal your money, it slowly chains your time, converting human life into efficient productivity. A dollar earned at 20 carries more value than the same dollar earned at 80 because utility declines as energy fades. As wealth rises with age, energy, health, and freedom decline, revealing the hidden imbalance no one warns you about. At different ages, the same money delivers very different value because your energy, health, and freedom to enjoy life steadily decline over time. When you are young, experiences compound into skills, confidence, and memories, creating far greater long-term returns than money quietly sitting unused. But as you age, spending the same amount often yields less joy, more effort, and sometimes physical limitations that reduce its real impact. This is the hidden tragedy of delaying life, where money grows larger while the ability to fully enjoy it shrinks. Time moves forward relentlessly, forcing every decision to trade between future security and present life experiences you may never get again. As we age, our ability to convert money into joy declines sharply, even while bank balances grow larger and graphs keep pointing upward. Life is always a trade between health, time, and money, yet we often chase the one we already have too much of. In your 20s, you have health and time but little money, while later life reverses this balance in a way money cannot fix. Spending feels safe when consumption ability is high, but delaying experiences too long quietly guarantees lower returns on happiness later. What truly drives hoarding isn't logic, but fear. Fear of running out and fear of failing the people we care about most. Many people imagine retirement as safety, yet this timeline shows how savings can quietly disappear faster than expected. That's why the real goal isn't dying rich, but reaching retirement with money timed to run out perfectly. Tools like annuities and long-term care insurance exist to convert saved money into predictable income, not idle fear. Instead of hoarding cash, these systems trade excess accumulation for stability, protection, and peace of mind later. When money is structured to be used, it stops being an inefficient hoard and starts serving life as intended. We tell ourselves we're saving responsibly, but underneath that logic often hides a primitive fear of running out when control disappears. Over time, money quietly transforms from a tool into emotional insurance, shielding us from imagined futures we may never face. When wealth piles up unused, it begins to replace lived experiences, turning memories into abstract numbers instead of real moments. The phrase, "it's for my kids," often masks discomfort with spending, even when that inheritance arrives too late to change their lives. Statistics reveal a harsh irony. Most inheritances arrive around 60, long before time, health, and opportunity have already faded. Fear of running out often lives only in our imagination, yet it quietly dictates decisions long after money stopped being the real problem. Hoarded wealth becomes meaningless when it never transforms into memories, growth, or moments that actually make life feel complete. Saying it's for the kids sounds noble, but most inheritances arrive when children are already old, tired, and financially independent. The average inheritance arrives around 60, long before the years when money could change direction, risk tolerance, and life trajectory. True legacy isn't what you leave behind after death, but what you give while alive, present, and able to witness its impact. Giving money after death is symbolic, but giving while alive creates connection, gratitude, and shared moments that money alone can never recreate. When wealth supports family experiences today, it strengthens bonds, builds memories, and lets you actually witness the impact of your generosity. Experiences pay memory dividends, growing more valuable over time, while unused money quietly decays into numbers that never made you happier. A life portfolio balances money, time, and relationships, ensuring your resources amplify living, not just survive you on paper. The real goal isn't dying rich, but living fully, leaving behind memories, not regrets, and proof that your wealth served life. Real wealth compounds quietly over decades, not through hoarding cash, but by investing time, curiosity, and experiences that keep paying emotional interest. Shared stories, laughter, and moments with others become memory dividends, growing richer with age instead of fading like unused money. When you delay living for too long, mathematics turns against you, shrinking the remaining years where enjoyment can actually be extracted. The true disadvantage isn't spending money early, but postponing life until time itself becomes the scarcest non-renewable asset. The goal isn't dying wealthy on paper, but living fully, so your final balance includes memories, impact, and a life that was actually used. Eventually, the most painful regret isn't money spent, but the experiences delayed too long until health, energy, and timing quietly disappear. That's why memory dividends matter, because experiences compound emotionally, growing richer each time you remember, retell, and relive them. Unlike money, memories don't depreciate, they appreciate over decades, strengthening identity, relationships, and meaning long after the moment passes. Every life has limited time buckets, and if you postpone certain experiences, some buckets will permanently close without warning. The real strategy isn't saving everything for later, but intentionally matching experiences to the right season of your life. Running out of time isn't loud or dramatic. It happens quietly, when years slip by while you keep telling yourself you'll start later. Every opportunity has a window, and money can't force it open once timing, energy, and circumstances have already passed. Accumulating wealth is easy to learn, but knowing how to spend it wisely over a lifetime is a skill most people never practice. Without a plan for decumulation, you risk saving so long that your money outlives the moments it was meant to create. True freedom isn't working forever or retiring early. It's aligning money, time, and life before the window finally closes. By the time most people realize time was the real currency, the finish line is already behind them, and no amount of effort can rewind it. We plan careers, portfolios, and savings meticulously, yet rarely plan how to actually spend life before the window of opportunity quietly closes. Accumulating money without a decumulation plan turns financial discipline into a trap, where wealth grows but freedom never truly arrives. The real risk is not running out of money, but reaching the end with unused memories, postponed dreams, and experiences forever marked someday. Wealth only fulfills its purpose when it is intentionally converted into living, connection, and meaning before time makes that conversion impossible. Most people sprint through life chasing numbers, only realizing at the finish line that the race never measured what truly mattered. Debt feels harmless in the moment, but over decades it quietly taxes your future choices, your freedom, and the time you thought you owned. Some learn the rules early and escape, while others keep playing the game on hard mode without ever knowing there was another path. When life becomes nothing but scoreboards and high scores, you risk winning the game while losing the person you were meant to be. The real tragedy isn't dying with little money, but realizing too late that money was never the thing you were supposed to maximize. Wealth becomes powerful only when it transforms into shared joy, security, freedom, and unforgettable experiences with people you care about. A massive account balance means nothing if it never translates into real memories or impact. The true objective is not dying rich, but finishing life knowing nothing important was postponed too long. If this perspective changed how you think about money and time, let it guide your choices before the window quietly closes.